If you've ever bought clothes online, you know that feeling, that little bit of anxiety. You see something you absolutely love, you click add to cart, and then you just hope. You really hope it looks as good on you as it did on the model. But what if you could just end that guessing game for good?
It's a pretty wild question when you think about it, right? I mean, we live in this age of incredible AI and amazing technology. So why does figuring out if a new jacket will actually fit you still feel like such a roll of the dice?
The thing is, virtual try-on isn't a brand new idea. We've seen it pop up here and there. But so far, the technology has really struggled. The results can look kind of fake, it takes forever to load, and forget about trying on a whole outfit at once. It just hasn't been ready for prime time.
But that might all be about to change. So today, we are diving deep into a new system from Alibaba called Tstars-Tryon 1.0 that claims it can solve these exact problems. We're going to start with a virtual dressing room problem, introduce this new solution, peek under the hood to see how it works, put it to the test, and then we'll look at what this all means for the future of how we shop. Okay, first up, let's really nail down the challenge. What makes a truly great virtual dressing room so incredibly hard to build? Well, it really boils down to these four massive hurdles. Any system has to be robust, which means it has to work on your messy, real-world photos, not just some perfect studio shot. It has to be realistic, showing every little detail, every texture of the fabric. It's got to be flexible, letting you try on a coat, a hat, and a bag, not just one t-shirt. And finally, it absolutely must be fast, because nobody is waiting 2 minutes for a picture to load. Hitting all four of these, that's the holy grail. All right, so that brings us to the potential solution presented in this paper, Tstars-Tryon 1.0, a system that was built from the ground up to conquer those very challenges. And its core promises map directly, and I mean perfectly, to the hurdles we just talked about. The researchers claim it's robust, working with pretty much any photo you throw at it, realistic, preserving every little detail, versatile, supporting full outfits across 8 different categories of clothing, and efficient, spitting out those results in just a few seconds. So here's the crucial point. This isn't just about making prettier pictures. The paper argues that this tech fundamentally changes the game. It solves that classic cost versus quality problem, making high-quality virtual try-on cheap and scalable enough for a massive platform like Taobao, where, by the way, it's already serving millions of users. Okay, so the big question is, how in the world did they pull this off? Let's take a simplified look under the hood at the engine that's making all of this possible. Now, this diagram lays out the entire process. At the top, that's the inference stage. That's what happens when you, the user, are using the app. But the real magic, the secret sauce, is in the training stage at the bottom. That's where the AI learns its craft. I like to think of it like training a master stylist. In step 1, the AI basically goes to art school, just learning general knowledge about the world and how to edit images. Then, in step 2, it specializes. It fine-tunes its skills on a gigantic fashion dataset. Then comes step 3, the critique phase. Using a technique called reinforcement learning, it gets feedback to figure out what looks good, what looks realistic. It's basically learning from its mistakes. And finally, step 4 is all about speed. The model gets distilled, which is a fancy way of saying they make it incredibly fast without forgetting all the skills it just learned. That's a really impressive process for sure. But the proof is in the pudding, right? Does it actually perform better than everything else out there? Let's look at the data. First up, speed. For a complex outfit, we're talking an average of 5 different items. It takes just under 7 seconds. Now get this, the paper notes that other leading open source models can take around 200 seconds for the same task. That is a massive difference in user experience. And what about quality? Well, the results are just as impressive. In these head-to-head quantitative tests measuring overall performance for complex outfits, it scores a 9.171, just edging out a top competitor. Higher score is better, and it comes out on top. But honestly, it's not just about the numbers. The crucial point here is that it avoids those common, kind of creepy AI fails. Other models often suffer from identity degradation, where all of a sudden your face looks weird, or feature omission, where it just completely forgets to add the hat you asked for. Tstars-Tryon excels at keeping you looking like you and at putting on all the clothes you actually selected. And this right here might be the most important chart of all. When real people were shown the results side by side, they preferred the Tstars-Tryon image over a top competitor more than 5 times as often. That's not just a win, that's a landslide victory in human perception. So how did they get these impressive results? Well, part of the answer is that they realized the old ways of testing were just broken. To build a commercial-grade system, they had to invent a commercial-grade test. See, the problem with a lot of the existing academic benchmarks is that they're just too easy. They're too clean. They use simple studio backgrounds, they focus on a single t-shirt, and they assume you have a perfect flat picture of the clothing. That is not how the real world of online shopping works at all. And you can really see the difference in their approach here. The new benchmark they built is designed to be tough. Over 41% of the images have complex, in the wild backgrounds. They're designed to push the AI to its absolute limits and see if it can handle reality. Okay, so let's move to our final section and see how this all builds towards a totally new shopping experience. What does this actually mean for us, the people buying the clothes? At its very core, it's all about confidence. Technology like this promises to finally solve that "will this fit me" problem. This could mean way fewer returns, which is obviously great for our wallets, and it saves businesses a ton of money in shipping and restocking. And of course, it's even better for the environment, helping to reduce the massive waste and carbon footprint from all that return shipping. And that brings us to our final thought. If you can try on any outfit perfectly from the comfort of your own home, what does that mean for the future of the physical store? What's the reason to go out shopping when the virtual dressing room is flawless? It's a fascinating question about how our digital and physical worlds are going to continue to merge. Thanks for digging into this with me.